So we're kind of, we're in a dead period right now for LSU football. The regular season's over. We're waiting on the bowl game and this, SEC championships this weekend. Of course, LSU's not playing. Team finishes 9-3, top 15 in the polls. So, a lot of the discussion in college football right now is about the transfer portal. So it got me to thinking, first of all, what does LSU need in the transfer portal? That's kind of an overarching topic we're going to get to at some point here in the offseason. We have plenty of time to talk about that. Believe me, the portal itself opens up in a couple days. But more so, I want to hone in on that quarterback position because Jaden Daniels is probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. Of course, he's going to the NFL. He's gone next year, right? So I hate to kind of skip over the fact that he has the Heisman coming up and kind of gloss over the season he had because it was an unreal season. We've covered it all season long. But the fan in you wants to start thinking about next year because, LSU didn't meet the expectation this year. We thought they would accomplish a little bit more perhaps. So you start to think about 2024. What could the team look like, especially a quarterback? So that's kind of where the transfer portal ties in. I want to know, is Garrett Nussmeier the answer for you? Or do you think that LSU needs to go to the transfer portal to bring in a quarterback? There's a couple of different ways to go about this. So we'll cover both sides, and I'll give you the argument for, I'll give you the argument against. Leave it up to you to decide which way you want to go. So for those who don't know, Garrett Nussmeier, former 4-star quarterback recruit from the state of Louisiana. He's got good ties to this area. His dad played in the NFL for the Saints for a little while, quarterbacks coach for the Cowboys and the LA Chargers, so he's really well connected. And we've seen Garrett play a little bit. He has over 1,300 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 picks. Hasn't really played a ton. The most run he's gotten was in that SEC championship game last year against Georgia, and he looked pretty good. He had 300 passing yards in that game, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And it seems like a general consensus of LSU fans like the way he plays and like what he could bring to this team. And, you pop on the highlights from that game, and he really showed what he could do. Strong arm, can make all the throws, can zip some passes in between a corner and a safety, can really thread the needle, and also put his receivers in a position to make plays. So we've definitely seen some good. People are wondering, can he do next year what Jaden Daniels did this year? That's the thing with Garrett Nussmeier, right? And it's hard because he's not much of a dual-threat guy as Daniels was. I think that's what was one of Daniels' biggest strengths was his ability in literally the snap of a finger to get out of the pocket and pick up 50 yards on the ground, flip the field position when the defense may have completely shut a play down. Like when they may have covered a passing play perfectly. Everybody was covered, blanketed, nowhere to go with the ball unless you want to throw it away. But Daniels had that elusive capability to get out of the pocket and get yardage. Don't really see that a lot with Garrett Nussmeier. And I think that's what's on the other side of this argument as to, getting this Denbrock offense to flow and work as well as it could like it did this year. Like, I think that Denbrock's system, his offense was run to perfection this season, but it's because he had a quarterback that could seriously check all the boxes. And even when the defense completely stopped a play, in theory, there was still a play to be made. And that's just what happens when you have a player like Jaden Daniels who's special like that. Is Garrett Nussmeier capable of doing those things, of making those plays? That's the biggest question. And I guess it remains to be seen. So if you're on that side of the argument, you don't know if Nussmeier's the answer, you don't know that he's the quarterback of the future for the Tigers and can do what Jaden Daniels did this year, which was, orchestrate the best offense in college football. If you don't think that he could be that guy, do you need to go to the transfer portal? Do you need to go and get a quarterback out of there that's perhaps dual threat like Daniels or is a little bit more proven at the college level? Now, here's the thing with that. If you do that, quarterbacks don't like to be recruited over. So if Nussmeier sees that Brian Kelly's bringing in this flashy 4 or 5-star transfer from, the Big 12, the SEC, whatever it may be, he might take that as a little bit of a slight, like, oh, you don't think I could be the guy? So you really got to be careful about that. It's kind of a sticky and a tricky situation, bringing in somebody from the outside to kind of push Nussmeier to be better or to just play over him. So I think he certainly deserves a chance to show that he could be the starter. If he could play all the time like he did in that SEC championship game, that's a special quarterback. The stuff that he was doing in that game, not many quarterbacks can do. I haven't seen many guys with that kind of throw power. And even to just have the bravery to throw the ball where he did in that game, between a corner, between a safety, of the caliber of the athletes that Georgia had defensively in that game. So it's a tough situation. But I want to know from you, do you think Garrett Nussmeier is the answer, or do you think LSU needs to go out again and get a transfer quarterback to come in here? Because for me, the eye test this year, there were times this season where Daniels left the game, right? Alabama, he had the head injury. He had to leave. He didn't play the rest of the game. Nussmeier came in, didn't do a whole lot. Other games this year, Daniels had to leave the game, for a snap or two. I think the Ole Miss game he left for a little while. Nussmeier comes in, all he does is either hand it off or throw it away. And I know it's tough to come off the bench cold and just start playing in an SEC game, but still, I mean, those were opportunities for Garrett Nussmeier to, show what he could do. And maybe the play calling took away from that, so that's certainly something that you have to keep in mind. But I don't know. I mean, I look at that SEC championship game kind of as a one-off. I haven't seen him do much since. Now, I'm not at practice. Coaches are saying he takes a lot of reps with the ones. He's been pushing Daniels, and he's going to be ready to go. That's what they're saying. So we'll see. Do I think LSU needs to get a quarterback out of the portal? I don't think it could hurt, because what if Nussmeier gets injured? You got Ricky Collins or the Hurley kid this year. Other than that, I don't really know who else is on the roster that could play starting quarterback for LSU. So I think there's certainly an argument to be made to, roll the dice, go all in on Garrett Nussmeier. But on the other side, you want some depth, but maybe he's not the guy, and you got to bring in a transfer. So you let me know. There's two different ways to go about this. And again, be sure to like and subscribe and check out all the other Game Time content. Christian, come up here real quick, bud. Want to give a shout-out to my guy, Christian. He's one of our producers. He's taken off for a new job in Seattle. So we appreciate everything that he did for this show, for the channel, getting us off the ground here. We've been going strong for, 4 months now?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, we're going to be missing you. Certainly a big part of the show, behind the scenes that people don't see on the camera. But here he is now. So thank you, and best of luck in Seattle.
Thank you, John.
And we'll just have to keep on going, I guess. It's going to be tough to replace you.
Yeah. You'll be in good hands, though. So
we'll do our best.
Oh, yeah.
Like and subscribe for Christian. All right? Thanks for watching.